What is up, my jammer and jamettes? Welcome back to another episode of the Cam Sports Jam. Brad Cameron here alongside Steven Berkheimer. Thanks again for jamming with us. Steven, great show we got planned for him today.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Before we get started, though, let's go over some of our sponsors. Gotta show love for our sponsors. Good Samaritans Medical Transport, our title sponsor. For all your medical transport needs, call Good Samaritans Medical Transport. Service that exceeds expectations. Well, let's start first. Let's dive into our local stuff like we always like to do. What do you got for me with the Caps?
Caps. We're sitting at 54, 16, and 6. We have 6 left, 3 home, 3 away. All of them are either in the playoffs or in the hunt to make the playoffs. Hope he's sitting at 46 wins, needs 2 to tie, 3 to get the record. I personally think he's going to make it. Grubauer overall is 8-7-1. Nothing to be excited about, but come playoff time, hopefully he'll be in that every night. But we're not playing as well as we have been in the beginning of the season. But I think it's the end of the season. We're playing somewhat conservative. No sense in getting hurt, in my opinion. So I'm not stressed about it yet. But come playoff time, I want to see us go harder than we're going right now.
No, absolutely. I think we played with a lot more intensity earlier in the year and even midway through the year. And I think we are kind of just mentally winding down the regular season. We've done what we need to do, secured first place, home ice in the East, and now we won the Presidents now for the whole thing. And so I think now we are kind of just like ready to just be done with the regular season and kind of have our minds focused towards the postseason. But I don't want to jump too far ahead, because we still have 6 games against some playoff teams with pretty big implication of where we stand right now. I do want to see us perform well in these last 6 games because it's going to be a testament, in my opinion, to how we're going to do in the playoffs, because the only question mark ever that's surrounding the Capitals is, yeah, you're going to look great. Yeah, you have the best score. Yeah, we know all this. But what do you do during crunch time? What do you do when it's on the line? And obviously we have nothing to gloat about. So I really, I know we are kind of on cruise mode, kind of focusing on the postseason. But I think this is kind of like a preseason, in a sense, to like, football, like regular season, where this is like our pre-postseason going into the playoffs, where we can kind of like, I don't want anyone getting hurt, but put forth a good enough effort to at least be in games, through 2 periods. And if we want to, maybe slack off in the third because wins don't necessarily mean anything for us, that like that's okay. But I need to see effort. I need to see us taking leads early too, instead of giving up leads early like we have tended to do of late. I know we still have pulled out some of these games because we have a fantastic team, but in the postseason, you really can't afford to do that. So these next 6 games, I really think are quite pivotal. I want to watch a little bit tightly. Obviously, they don't dictate anything, but I am kind of interested in them. But that's very good. I hope he gets the record. I mean, he's sitting right there. Play hard for him, fellas. If for nothing else, play hard for him. Let him get this record.
A side note on this, if I'm not mistaken, all Canadian teams are out of the playoff hunt.
Yes.
Go USA!
Yeah, Montreal got out there and they were just ousted. So yeah, now it's no Canuck, no Vancouver, Calgary, no nothing is going to win the cup this year. It's going to stay in the States. So I guess that feels pretty good, but I hope it stays in the nation's capital too.
Yeah,
so
there we go.
That's it. Go Caps, rock the red. Let's move on to the Wizards. Sore thumb. 3.5 games back now after this most recent loss to the Kings. Pretty bad, pretty embarrassing. 6-4 in their last 10, which I guess isn't terrible, but when you're getting down to the playoff run, you really need to find ways to win games, especially against bad teams. I know they lost to Golden State at Golden State, but so did everyone else this season. But then to lose to the Kings, in Sacramento, when you're trying to spark life into your organization and into this team, that's just like, wind out of sails. I think that was the last blow. Like I said, 3.5 games back, 7 games left, and 4 of the last 7 are on the road. I mean, we can pretty much scratch this season and just get the clubs out. I think it's time to hit the links, plan vacations, Wizards, because I don't see them pulling this off, which is a shame because they've worked so hard to build something, which hasn't existed for the Wizards and to make the playoffs the last couple of years and really try and gain some momentum with John Wall, with Beal, with some of our young players. It just simply wasn't there this year. So that really is a shame. Well, let's move on to our next team. What do you got for me when it comes to the Skins?
Skins, we have a local Terp returning, coming home. Vernon Davis signed him to a 1-year deal. I'm not familiar with the contract terms yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's
but Vernon Davis coming back. Talked about it in the last episode.
Yeah.
I'm not overly excited about it, but I definitely don't hate it. I like our depth at the tight end position in signing him. On that note, we also let Pot Roast go to the Patriots. They signed for one year, $4.5 million. That's a bit steep for me, in my opinion, for him. But I think that we're going to plug away in the draft, get the people that we need. I think we're on the right track, drafting and our signing. So I'm happy with what we're doing right now.
Yeah, me too. I said on the last show, I really do like this addition. I like having Vernon Davis. I think the Skins, like having a really wide receiver type of tight end product. Obviously our run game wasn't that impressive last year, but we kind of used Jordan Reed in a run game type setting where, he would do these little float screens, in the zones, be open for short passes that he turned into big yards. I think Vernon Davis can do something similar. I know he doesn't like to be like a run blocker. That's not like his build. That's not his design. He has an athletic build, more wide receiver-like, and I think they can give each other breathers. I think he can work in the system. I think he's excited to play in this type of system where he doesn't have to block as much. They were asking him to block more when he was with San Francisco and didn't do much with Denver, and Denver's passing game wasn't anything to necessarily flaunt in front of people's faces last year. They won a Super Bowl, don't get me wrong. Congratulations, but, I don't know if any receiver put up the stats they put up last year for Denver that they did the year before. I think definitely numbers were down offensively for everyone on that team. But I think he'll, coming back home, obviously Maryland Terrapin, Vernon Davis, I think he's excited. I think it's a new environment and on a team that kind of uses the tight end more like he would like to be used. And I think they'll feed off each other. I think this will be a good fit for Vernon Davis. So I am really excited. Shame about losing, Terrence Knighton, Pot Roast. But what can you do? The Patriots are loading up. They're starting to look pretty good. They've had a pretty solid free agency. I guess doesn't surprise us much. They always do a good job. So well done, Patriots. Again, fantastic. Stealing Pot Roast from us, taking dinner right off our plate. Jeez, horrible. Okay. Well, I'm gonna talk about the Nats. It's almost that time. We almost have opening day coming up, so it's time to start gearing up on nationals. And love going to baseball games. So much fun. Go out to Nats Park. People watch the Nats play. They're fantastic. Beautiful experience there. But the Nats have had a great spring training so far. 18-4 record. That's the best record right now in spring training. And the thing that I focused on the most was kind of looking at their division, the Mets. They beat the Mets 4 out of 5 times that they played them by pretty significant margins. 9-4, 9-5, 12-7, most recently 12-1, and they also had a tie 4-4. So the Mets have not beaten the Nats, and I know this is just spring training. I get it, but I think this is a perfect time for the Nats to start playing good ball right away. Like let's not dilly-dally. Let's not waste time. Let's get back to being what we were 2 years ago. Last year was a little bit of a hiccup. Couldn't ever get on pace. Rendon missed a lot at the beginning of the season, and we couldn't find momentum. And when it came down to crunch time, the Mets found a little bit more momentum than we did, and we really slacked off, which was a shame. And so I'm happy that it looks like we kind of are playing with some kind of demeanor. Like even though it's just spring training, I know. But still, it is something to kind of be like, raise your eyebrows at and be like, well, okay, I guess we're meaning some business. It's not like we're just like floating at 500 or just over 500 and like, okay, we got through some games. 18-4 is pretty dang impressive. And to beat, an opponent that's in your division that many times, it's got to give you a little bit of confidence going into the season saying, hey, look, we kind of have their number. Maybe we are back on them. and let's handle some business this year. What do you think? How do you like that?
I don't. I mean, I think nobody really cares in this. I do think there is one positive, but I don't take the head-to-head matchups, worth anything. You have starters pitching 3-4 innings, and then they're trying everybody out. But with the new manager and Dusty Baker and the team getting used to him, I do think it is important and extremely positive for us to have a winning atmosphere. And starting off like this, even though it is spring training, it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't really mean anything to anybody. I think it's great for us, and I think it'll get us off to a good start, as you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, no, I'm hopeful. We're hoping that last year doesn't happen again. We're hoping 2 years ago happens again, and we're hoping we can muster up a postseason that's worthy. But before we move on, we want to talk more college basketball, because even though it may not be March anymore, the madness is still here. So don't go anywhere, Jammer fans. When we come right back, we're going to talk about the Final Four. You're watching the Jam. Welcome back, Jammer fans. Another big shout out to Silver Spring Social Sports, another one of our sponsors. It's a 21 and up social sports league. It includes sports like volleyball, dodgeball, football, softball, kickball, and soccer. If you want to get involved in any of these sports, it's a great way to find new friends and also just to stay in shape and have some fun. Like I said, it's a 21 and up league. You can go to silverspringsocialsports.com and find out all the information that you need to sign up. So thanks again as one of our sponsors. All right, let's move on. It may be April, but I don't care. I really don't. Let's get back to March. Let's talk Final Four. First, UNC and Cuse. Well, wait. I want to talk about Maryland real quick. While we're talking basketball, let's talk Maryland. There's big news coming about Stone and about Trimble and what their plans are. Layman, Suleiman are seniors, so they're definitely gone. What they're going to do after that, I don't know, but they're definitely gone. Trimble and Stone and even Carter all could come back. Haven't made any announcements yet in terms of what they're going to do. So just a heads up, Terps fans. Right now, nothing to announce. We're hopeful, fearful, everything full, wondering, waiting. We'll see. We'll see. That's all I can say. I guess we'll kind of find out what kind of draft boards they have for these guys, and see if they sign agents and want to declare for the draft. We'll wait and see. But as of right now, nothing to report. So let's get back. Final Four: UNC, Cuse, Nova, Oklahoma. Congratulations to those programs. Made it this far. Syracuse, obviously, quite the Cinderella story of the tournament so far. 10 seed, making it to the Final Four. On the bubble was Syracuse. Questionable to get into the NCAA tournament. Does this put a little bit of an importance on bubble teams and how much pressure there really is on that bubble to get in if you can make noise like this? I think yes, but how do you feel about that? Obviously close to not getting in, maybe shouldn't have, but did and made noise in the Final Four now.
I had them in. Especially with them being in the ACC. Getting at-large bids or bids from being on the bubble in conferences that I guess don't stack up against the top tier. In my opinion, I wouldn't give them much of a, not say chance, but because then that's why they play the games. Anybody can beat anybody. But I didn't see Cuse getting this far, obviously, either. But,
I don't think.
I'm not surprised with ACC succeeding in the tournament, with them beating each other up in the season. That's the best conference out there. So
that's true. So you think the emphasis mainly on the bubble teams is not for the mid-majors, it's for the power conferences that can squeak in maybe one or two teams that have had a really tough schedule that are better than what their seeding is. It just so happens that they played such a tough schedule where their losses piled up, and it's, it is hard to win games night in and night out in the ACC, going up against, the likes of Virginia, the likes of Duke, the likes of North Carolina, Louisville. Very, very tough for the Syracuse team. So, yeah, maybe they were worthy, but maybe we weren't giving them enough credit based on their win-loss record, but in terms of what they've overcome in that conference, maybe they did deserve more credit. But either way, they've made it. So next year we'll have to really kind of watch who's on the bubble and be like, can they make noise like Cuse did? we'll see. But first things first, they got to get through North Carolina. Didn't do it all year. Played them twice. First time at Syracuse, North Carolina won by 9, 84, won by 11, 84-73. And then North Carolina also beat Syracuse at home, 75-70. Kind of close games, 11-5. It's not complete blowouts. And I don't think North Carolina played tremendously well. I look at some of their stats, didn't shoot the three ball well, 18% in one game, 24% in the other, in another game. Have looked way better since. Have been shooting the ball much better since, mainly Marcus Page. But let's look at what UNC has done in the NCAA tournament so far. They're averaging almost 90 points per game. Almost 90 points per game. And points against is 73. So, they're winning games by about 17 points, average margin, which is pretty comfortable. Rebounding extremely well, especially in the offensive glass, getting after it. 38 rebounds per game right now. Taking care of the ball. 9 turnovers per game, which I know is down from their regular season stat. That's really the change so far in North Carolina. I think that we've seen in the tournament is that their guard play, Page scoring, and taking care of the ball has gotten tremendously better. Let's look at Cuse, though. 69 points per game. Not as impressive. Much more of a defensive type team, slow down the game, half court type offense where UNC is kind of get out and run and we're just going to absolutely overpower you with our talent. But defensively, very, very good for Cuse. Only 55 points per game. That's 20 points less virtually than what UNC has given up. So they are focused on a very different side of the court than North Carolina is focused on. North Carolina focused on getting points. Cuse more focused on not letting people score, and hopefully they get some. But rebounding well also, 38.5 rebounds per game, taking care of the ball pretty well, 10.5 turnovers per game. What do you got for this matchup, Steve? Break it down for me and tell me your winner.
I have UNC winning. I think the offensive firepower is just going to overwhelm Syracuse. Syracuse has played well in the tournament, but when you look at their defensive stats, they haven't played offensive school when they play defensive teams that are similar to them. So I don't think it's going to be close. I think it'll be double digits. No disrespect to Syracuse.
Love you, man.
But I think UNC's offensive firepower is insane, especially with Bryce Johnson. He's a double machine, 17 and 10.5 a game. Page and Barry dishing the rock. I'm going to go with the Tar Heels in this one.
You got a score for me?
Okay. I have, let's go.
I heard double digits. So
80 to 66.
Okay. All right. I have UNC win this also. But I am going to give Syracuse a lot of credit. They've been able to really slow down basketball games, and I know North Carolina is playing at a really high level, and the eye test is very easy, to say this is definitely going to be North Carolina's, and I do agree with that as well. But I do think, Syracuse has played them well in the regular season. I do think their defense is playing extremely well, and Boeheim is finding out some things about his young players, and has been able to expose some of their talents in the NCAA tournament, especially defensively. When you look at Virginia, and they couldn't handle the pressure that Cuse brought in the second half. Realistically, this should be UNC versus Virginia, but, Cuse found another level. Virginia couldn't handle the pressure and lost that basketball game. UNC is taking care of the ball, but I think Cuse will slow down this game. I think UNC will win, but I see it being a little bit lower scoring than what UNC has been accustomed to so far in the tournament, and I think that is going to have to be their game plan because 69 points to 89 points, they obviously are not going to keep up with North Carolina. And I have UNC winning 75-63. I do think that this story comes to an end. They have had an easy road, like you said. They didn't have to go through the likes of Michigan State. Played Gonzaga. No West Coast teams in the last 9 years in the Final Four. So, play Gonzaga. Is that like an actual win, or were they fortunate that they didn't have to go? Who's the 7th seed over on that side, Steve? You got the bracket for me?
It was Dayton. That's who Syracuse played first round.
Oh, okay. Who was the 5 then? That was
Purdue.
Oh, Purdue was the 5, and the 4 was Iowa State. Either way, they had a 15 seed they played, and then an 11 seed they played. It opened up pretty chippy for them to the Sweet 16. So I don't know if I've seen enough from Syracuse to really be like, okay, you are playing at that level, or maybe you've kind of been able to squeak by. Not taking away what they've done. They're in the Final Four. You got to win games. You play the people who are in front of you, and it is what it is. Um, but I think UNC gets it. I have a 75-63, so I do have a double-digit win to 12 points. But I think this is going to be close in the first half because of Syracuse's game plan. But I think UNC is just going to be too talented offensively. Bryce Johnson, just too much for this Syracuse team. Even though Benajay is playing extremely well, but nope. UNC all the way. Let's move on to the next. Nova versus Oklahoma. This one's a little bit tighter. I mean, two seeds playing against each other versus a 1 and a 10 in Syracuse and UNC. So this is probably going to be a pretty good game. Break it down. What do you think?
I can't wait for this game. This is going to be extremely exciting. I'm excited to watch, UNC play. I wish they were playing, a better team, so I'm going to give them more of a challenge. But I couldn't ask, the way these two teams are playing, Nova and Oklahoma, I would have set it up this way if I knew that they were going to, play this way. So I'm extremely excited. I doubted Buddy at the beginning of the tournament. Eating my words now, so now I have no reason to go against him. So I'm going to go with Buddy. Buddy and the Sooners. I think it's going to be a really close game. I have Buddy and the Sooners winning by about 5.
Okay.
Probably 70-65. Not as high scoring as I would project.
Yeah.
Given these two offenses, but I think with them, maybe one person isn't shooting as well as the other, and then you play down to your competition. So maybe the offenses aren't clicking on all cylinders, especially being in the new venue. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma. I can't wait for it. Congrats to the Wildcats. I also doubted you guys, and you guys maybe showed up. So.
I did too. I got to give a little bit of credit to Villanova. They've had opportunities and they've squandered them multiple years in a row. I didn't see this year being any different. Playing in a conference that wasn't the strongest this year. They had already played Oklahoma, got destroyed, where it's like, okay, this was one of your toughest tasks, and you really flopped. I thought this was going to be more of the same. So congratulations, Villanova, on what you guys have put together and getting through Kansas. Tremendous effort so far this season. Still lots of ball to be played for you guys. You look at Villanova they're averaging about the same points. Villanova and Oklahoma, 82, 81. It was about the same points against. Villanova a little bit better, 63 versus 70 for Oklahoma. Both rebounding the ball well, but Oklahoma rebounding, quite significantly better, 36.75. So 37 rebounds a game to 30 rebounds a game. And that could play a big factor because Oklahoma loves rebounding, and Buddy Hield will go somewhere where he will be open for a 3. And I heard in an interview he said, other conferences haven't been able to figure me out yet. Big 12 conferences started to figure him out a little bit. Oklahoma kind of struggled towards the end of the season, but it wasn't that much of a struggle. But, they were not the number one team like they kind of were through some of the year. But still, I think he's right. I think other conferences haven't figured him out yet. And it's hard to guard him. It's very hard. He's strong. He can pull from virtually any distance, and he's going to. He's going to take at least 10 threes a game. And so far, he's hitting probably about 5. I mean, he's shooting extremely well.
Playing very well.
Turnovers, Oklahoma, though, is a little scary. They're averaging 13 turnovers a game. I mean, multiple times they've had, 15. They have one game that they played well. I think it was their opening game, their chippy that they had, where they only turned it over 8 times. But against tougher competition, they've been turning it over a lot more. And so I wonder, this Villanova team's a good team, and they're a very productive offensive team. If you give them more opportunities, that could come back to bite them. So they have the rebounding margin, but then lose the turnover margin. This is going to be close. I mean, this is going to be so close. I think it is going to be a great game. And I got Villanova. I'm tired of kind of picking against them. I did my whole bracket. I picked against them my whole bracket. But I think Villanova's gonna pull this off, 86-83. I have it being tight, and I have it being a score fest.
Yeah.
I think it is gonna be a score fest.
Okay.
And I got Villanova 86, Oklahoma 83. in a tight one, and I got Nova playing UNC in the
All right.
championship.
All right.
Well, I suppose that's all we have for the Jammers today. Thank you guys for watching. April Fools! Don't go anywhere. We're gonna do the championship game, announce our winners, and I also want to go over the Cam Sports Jam bracket challenge. So don't go anywhere, Jammer fans. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Jammer fans. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. We love you guys so much. Big shout out to Junk Masters. Our business is picking up for any of your junk removal needs. Anything, call Junk Masters. All right, before we do the championship, before we do the finals, let's recap the Cam Sports Jam Challenge. Thank you to all the entrants and your brackets were a ton of fun, and obviously it's always fun getting involved in all the bracket challenges, whether it's at work, whether it's at home. Bragging rights are on the line always. Dollars are flying. So thank you guys for participating, and still best of luck to you. Let's recap the top 5 standings right now in the Cam Sports Jam Challenge. In first place right now, Mr. C, Ryan Collins, with 80 points. His champ, Kansas. Done. Number 2, Devin Johnson, 77 points. His winner, Michigan State. Number 3, Wilkes 33, Robert Wilkes, 76 points. Kentucky, champion. Number 4, Stephen Knight, my brother, 74 points. Winner, Michigan State. Tie for 5th. We got a tie for 5th is Josh. Josh's bracket. He's got 68 points. He has UNC. Still has a potential of 116 points. So he's still very alive in this thing. Number 5, also tied for 5th, Devil Dog, Matt Shipe, looking at 68 points, Michigan State. Now, also tied for 5th, Ryan, bracket name, Ryan McDowell, 68 points, winner, Oklahoma. Okay. So still very alive for Mr. McDowell. And also tied for 5th is B Fort 33, Bryant Fortin, 68 points, his champion, Kansas. So that is his max points. And alone tied for 5th is your dark horse. The host is me, tied for 5th, also with 68 points. I have UNC winning the whole thing. As of right now, I have the potential for the most points in the bracket. If UNC can get through Syracuse, and then if they can win the national championship, it looks like I will reign on top. But there's still a lot of time, but that's just a heads up on the bracket challenge. Thanks again, JR fans, for participating. So much fun looking at this and watching it shuffle after every round. It's been a blast. But talk about the championship game. You have UNC in Oklahoma. I have UNC Villanova. I mean, there's a commonality here. We see something in UNC, obviously, playing Cuse, a little bit easier of a road than Oklahoma and Nova. So break down your matchup. You have UNC of Oklahoma. How do you see this pan out? I mean, those are
I think this is going to be a fireworks show. There's going to be a lot of points put up in this one. In the end, I have Roy Williams being the one guy who can figure Buddy out. I think he has the mindset, the knowledge, and can teach his players how to slow down. The one guy that's been killing everybody in the tournament. So I know Buddy's averaging 25. Yeah, 25 a game this season. So I'm going to go with the better coach on this one and the more well-rounded team instead of the best athlete on the floor, or best scorer, I should say, possibly. So I'm going to go with the Heels in this one, 87-81.
It's very interesting. I looked at stats of top talent in last year's Final Four, and there was like 8 first-rounders in last year's Final Four, and this year they're only projecting 1. It's Buddy. There's only 1, true talented, this is all in quotes, top talent pick still left in this tournament, and this Buddy Hill. It's just kind of, weird how that worked out, where Duke was loaded, Wisconsin was loaded, Kentucky loaded last year. There was a lot of talent on a lot of rosters last year, and you're seeing a little bit of a shift this year where it's more team play, versus just raw talent that's winning this. Not that all these teams aren't very talented, they are. But good call. UNC, you got to score for me.
Yeah, 87-81.
And this is going to be applied to your picks for the T-shirt contest, just to compare with the jammers that are also going to submit their picks. So you have UNC 87-81, total of 168 points. Okay, so Stevie's looking at UNC 168 for his entry into the T-shirt challenge, and I'm with you. I'm taking UNC. You know, I think Villanova just isn't going to be prepared for how much talent is really on that roster. I think Villanova plays very well as a team. They share the ball extremely well, and they're tremendously talented, and they do defend the bucket very well. And I know UNC likes to get a lot of offensive rebounds. They don't, of a lot of these teams that remain besides Syracuse, I hate to rule them off. I'm kind of hard at ruling them off, but UNC probably is the least reliant on the three-pointer. I mean, you look at Nova and Oklahoma, they shoot a lot of threes. And, for a while, Nova was just hitting everything. The first two, even 3 rounds, struggled a little bit against Kansas. Only had 64 points, but you got to give Kansas their due. They were the top overall team. They put up a fight. Nova was able to get through them. But, I think despite the fact that UNC doesn't really want to go into a three-point shooting contest with Villanova, they like scoring in the paint, and Nova is better than almost every team except Hughes in terms of points against. Remaining in the Final Four is 63, and a lot of that is due to their rim blocker. I think UNC gets it done. I think Roy Williams finds a way to get it done. I think Page and Johnson they're just on another level right now, and they are going to will their team to any kind of victory that they need to. And I'm going to take UNC over Villanova in a slightly lower a scoring rate than what they're accustomed to. I'm going to take 72-78. Well, 78-72 North Carolina. So slightly less. 150. Yep. So that's what we got. Those are our champs. Right. Congratulations, UNC. I wore UNC colors for a reason. Congratulations. I'm not a huge fan of UNC, but it's hard to, they're passing the eye test. Every single time you watch them play, 101 points against Indiana, 80-some points, they're firing on all cylinders. Yeah, they really are firing on all cylinders. Well, I think that's it. Jammer fans, don't forget, still, you can submit your picks, champion pick for the NCAA tournament, and total score of the game. And whoever gets the closest is going to win special Cam Jam sports t-shirt. So still send us your picks until Saturday at 5 p.m. It's your last time to submit because the game starts 6. So we got to have picks in before the Final Four starts. Well, Stevie, thanks again for being here as my co-host. Thank you. Appreciate the time. Appreciate your picks. I know Michigan State didn't pan out the way you had wanted, but look at a lot of other brackets. It's the same way. Only a couple teams still have relevancy in the Final Four for their champion. But thanks to our sponsors, Jammer fans. Thanks for watching. Can't thank you enough. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us comments. Interact with us however you want to. Ask us questions. Tell us we're dumb. We don't care. We don't care. Feel free to interact with us. Chit chat some sports. This is what we do. It's what we love to do. Leave us comments, Facebook, whatever the case may be. But definitely stay tuned. Watch these games. They're going to be great. They are going to be great. Final Four very seldomly disappoints, and especially the championship. From Butler playing Duke to last year Wisconsin, playing Duke again. How does that happen? But lots of excitement still left for this. A little shout out, ETSU, my alma mater, Deuce Bello is in the dunk contest for the NCAA college dunk contest. Represent for the Bucks. Go Deuce Bello. Well, that's everything for the day. As always, reminding you guys, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Thanks for jamming with us.